Emotional father defends Coco Gauff amid controversial 432 record backlash. Tennis is a sport where pressure, precision, and public scrutiny collide on a daily basis. But even in a world as intense as international athletics, few moments compare to the emotional firestorm that erupted when Coco Gauff's newly celebrated 432 record was thrown into controversy. And at the center of the storm, standing firm like an unshakable pillar, was her father, Coco Gauff, defending his daughter with a depth of emotion and conviction that stunned even the harshest critics. The controversy hit with unexpected force, just days after Coco's monumental achievement, shattering a long-standing return of serve streak and becoming the first player in over a decade to record 432 uninterrupted points won on return throughout a single season. Social media went into a frenzy. Analysts applauded the feat, fans cheered, and coaches celebrated her consistency. But then came the skepticism, accusations that the record was inflated, suggestions that the metric was meaningless, and even claims that the statistic existed solely to hype Coco's rising fame. For a 21-year-old athlete who had already lived much of her life under the microscope, the backlash stung. And when Coco, usually composed and grounded, appeared unusually quiet during her post-match interview, the world noticed. But her father noticed first. The rise before the storm. To understand the weight of Coco Gauff's emotional defense, one must rewind to the beginning, to the journey that began long before Coco lifted Grand Slam titles, long before she dominated courts across continents. Coco had been the engineer of Coco's dream from the moment she first held a racket at 6 years old. He was a man who woke before dawn to drive her to junior tournaments, who studied match footage late into the night, who believed in her even when the world did not yet know her name. Their relationship is built not on pressure but on purpose, on a shared dream that blossomed from playground courts and backyard practice swings. So when a wave of critics rose up against her for 132 record, Coco felt every word as though it were aimed at him, too. The backlash that refused to fade. The backlash didn't begin as a tidal wave. It started as murmurs, commentators saying the stat was too niche, bloggers suggesting it was cherry-picked, rival fans arguing that Coco's team had devised a media-friendly number to attract headlines. But in the age of viral narratives, criticism spreads like wildfire. Within 24 hours, the conversation had transformed from mild skepticism to full-blown controversy. Hashtags emerged, debates fired across sports panels, and even a few former players chimed in, questioning whether the record truly reflected excellence. Coco remained silent, choosing instead to focus on her next tournament. But her silence only fueled more opinions. A storm now raged around her name. And then Coco stepped in, a father's breaking point. It was during a live press conference, originally intended to address Coco's next tournament preparations, that Coco Gauff unexpectedly took the microphone. No one expected fireworks. No one expected emotion. But what unfolded became one of the most shared tennis moments of the year. Standing beside his daughter, he took a deep breath, and for the first time in a long time, he didn't sound like a coach, a strategist, or a professional sports figure. He sounded like a father. "I'm going to say this once," Coco began, his voice steady but undeniably emotional. "My daughter has fought for every point of her career, every match, every statistic, every accomplishment. She did not ask for this record. She did not chase it. She earned it." The room went silent. Even the cameras seemed to pause. He continued, "The 432 number isn't about hype. It's about hard work. It's about discipline. It's about the mornings she practiced when everyone else was sleeping. It's about the sacrifices she made at an age when most kids were still figuring out who they wanted to be. You can question the sport, you can question the numbers, but do not question her heart. She's proven it too many times." Reporters glanced at one another. Some nodded, some scribbled furiously, but no one interrupted him. Coco, who had initially stood composed, blinked rapidly. Tears pooled, not because of the criticism, but because of the protective force standing beside her. The internet reacts. Within minutes, Coco's speech went viral. Fans rallied. Hashtags flipped. Even longtime critics softened their tone. Clips of Coco's emotional defense flooded timelines with captions like, This is how a father stands by his daughter. Coco Gauff just gave the sports world a masterclass in parenting. You don't mess with Coco, not when her father is in the room. Sports psychologists weighed in, noting that unlike many athletic parent speeches, which often ignite more tension, Corey's words resonated because they came from a place of unfiltered love. Suddenly, the 432 controversy wasn't about whether the stat mattered. It was about the message behind it. Coco's heartfelt response. Coco isn't someone who speaks impulsively. Her words are always measured, thoughtful, grounded in her values. But after witnessing her father's emotional defense, she opened up in an interview of her own later that evening. "My dad has been with me since the beginning," she said softly. "People see me win matches, they see me lift trophies, but they don't see the sacrifices he made to get me here. To see him stand up like that, it meant more than any statistic ever could." She paused, then added with a small, proud smile, "The 432 isn't just my record. It's ours." Her words, simple yet powerful, became an instant headline. Why the 432 record matters. Behind the controversy lies an undeniable truth. The 432 record was never just a number. It symbolized Coco's consistency, her mental resilience, and her evolution from a teenage prodigy into a mature competitor. The legacy of the 432 moment. History will likely remember the 432 record as an impressive athletic achievement. But the emotional story behind it, of a father defending his daughter with unwavering love, will live far longer in the hearts of fans. For Coco, the experience became a reminder that the world may challenge her, but she will never face those challenges alone. For Corey, it reaffirmed his role not just as a coach, but as a protector. And for the tennis community, it highlighted a powerful truth. Sometimes the most important statistic isn't measured in numbers, but in love, loyalty, and the courage to speak when silence would be easier. Conclusion: a father's love, a daughter's strength. The controversy surrounding the 432 record could have become a distraction, a blemish on an otherwise stellar season. Instead, it transformed into a touching symbol of unity between Coco and her father. It showcased the humanity behind the athlete, the heart behind the numbers, and the family behind the fame. Critics may come and go, records may rise and fall, but the image of Coco Gauff's emotional defense, his voice trembling yet resolute, his words fierce yet loving, will remain a defining moment in Coco Gauff's story. Because in the end, this wasn't just about tennis. It was about love. It was about truth. It was about standing tall in a world determined to pull you down. And together, Coco and her father did exactly that. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.